Diaz.
Here.
Whitlatch.
Here.
Piliano.
Here.
Aguilar.
Stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move on to item 2, public comment. At this time, members of the public may comment on any items not appearing on the agenda. Under state law, matters presented under this item cannot be discussed or acted upon by the Planning Commission at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public will be invited to make comments at the time the item comes up for Planning Commission consideration, so that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Any person addressing the Planning Commission may be limited at the discretion of the chair. At all times, please use the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Anybody wishes to make public comment? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the next item. Item number 3, approval of the minutes.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from April 8th, 2015.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Gong.
Oh, yes.
Bailey's.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Whitlatch.
Yes.
Piliano.
Yes.
Aguilar.
The motion has been passed. Okay, we're going to move on to the partial item number 4. We're going to do 4A, B, and C at this time. And item A is the tentative partial map number PPM 15-003, Ken McLachlan and Forrester Weber and Associate. Item B is tentative partial map number PPM 14-046, Don Robinson and James Winston and Associate. Item C is tentative partial map number PPM 15-006. We're not going to have any discussion unless somebody wants to withhold something for discussion. Do I see anybody? You guys are all good with it? Anybody in the I'm going to open the public comment. Anybody wishes to discuss anything on the item? Otherwise, no, we're not going to do a presentation. Okay, I'm going to close the public comment and move on to the voting. So the first one is item 4A. This is to approve a category exemption consistent with California Environmental Quality Act and the state CEQA guideline pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulations, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to new construction or conversion of a small structure, and conditionally approve a tentative partial map number PPM 15-003 and waiver of the final map with 2 exceptions. Here, I entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve a categorical exemption consistent with CEQA and the state CEQA guidelines, and also to conditionally approve tentative parcel map number PPM 15-003 and waiver of the final map with 2 exceptions.
We move in second. Roll call, please.
Gong.
Yes.
Bailey's.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Whitlatch.
Yes.
Piliano. Aguilar.
PPM 15-003 has been approved. We move on to item 4B, tentative partial map PPM 14-046. This is to approve a category exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act and the state CEQA guideline pursuant to Title 14, California Code Regulations, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to a limited number of new small facilities or structure, and conditionally approve tentative partial map number PPM 14-046 and waiver the final map.
I'll make the motion that we approve a categorical exemption consistent with CEQA and conditionally approve the tentative parcel map PPM 14-046 and waiver of final map.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. Roll call, please.
Gong.
Yes.
Bailey's.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Whitlatch.
Yes.
Piliano. Aguilar.
PPM 14-046 have been approved. We move on to the item 4C, tentative partial map number PPM 15-006. This is to approve a category exemption consistent with California Environmental Quality Act and the state CEQA guideline pursuant to Title 14 California Code Regulations Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to a new construction or conversion of a small structure, and conditionally approved tentative partial map number PPM 15-006 with 2 exceptions.
I'll make the motion to approve categorical exemption consistent with CEQA and to conditionally approve tentative parcel map PPM 15-006 with 2 exceptions.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Roll call, please.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey's,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Miliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
PPM 15-006 have been approved. So we're moving on to item 5. Okay, item 5 is a tentative subdivision map, TM 833. R. Mitch Cumington and Andres Papageorge. This is a general rule exception and tentative partial map TM 833 to divide 2.71 acres partial into 7 rural residential lot averaging 17,624 square feet each in an RA 12.5 rural residential 12,500 square feet minimum zone. The site is located on the north side of Avenue 393 on the east side of Club Road, approximately 2 miles southeast of the city of Kingsburg. And Dana Martin, it's all yours.
Chairman Gong, Commissioners. Yes, this is a tentative tract map, TM 833, and it is just east of Kingsburg. The activity is covered by the general rule, consistent with CEQA and the state CEQA guidelines pursuant to Section 15061B3. And the project is compatible with this environmental determination because a preliminary analysis prepared for the project demonstrated that the project did not have the potential to cause a significant effect on the environment. Entitlement is found in Section 4A, the rural residential zone, which allows divisions of land so long as the parcels being created meet the minimum acreage required in the zone. And in this particular case, the minimum acreage is 12,500 square feet, and this proposed division is in compliance with that requirement. The project is located in the Kings River Plan area, and the land use designation is residential, 4 dwelling units per acre maximum. And the project is consistent with these general plan policies and these general plan policies and these policies of the Kings River Plan as well. And here is the vicinity map for this TM 833, and as you can see, it is just a couple miles east of the city of Kingsburg, located on the northeast corner of Avenue 393 and Club Road. Although a well-served letter was submitted with the application indicating that the Fairway Mutual Water Company had the capacity and availability to provide water to the 7 lots, it was conditioned so that each individual lot would provide a well-served letter prior to the issuance of any building permits. There has been some concern raised regarding the availability of water. However, the Fairway Mutual Water Company is satisfied with the condition that was placed in the resolution on this map pertaining to each individual lot would have to submit their own will-serve letter at the time of development. The existing zone is RA 12.5. That's 1/4 acre minimum for each lot. Here is the aerial of the area and the undeveloped portion of the site, and more current from Google Earth. This is the tentative subdivision map, and our lots are these 7 here on the southern edge on the north side of Avenue 393. Site fronts county-maintained road Avenue 393, which will be improved to a Class 2 county road standard. The subdivision frontage is also required to be improved with curb and gutter and pavement widening. Street paving, water lines, and underground utilities related to infrastructure will all be constructed prior to the surfacing of the roads. And this project was noticed according to the law, and staff's recommendation is to the Planning Commission to recommend to the Board of Supervisors to approve the general rule exemption consistent with CEQA and conditionally approve the tentative tract map number TM 833. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Anybody on the board wishes to make any comments or have any questions? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open the public comment section. So this is an opportunity for you to speak on behalf of the project, if you would like. Yeah, just come on up and then make sure you give your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commission members. My name is Mitch Covington. I'm a representative of the owner, Mr. Papa George. My address is P.O. Box 3376 in Pinedale, California. I think you can see that the map is a natural extension of what has already been developed in the area. I'm very appreciative of my work with Dana. She's been helpful through the application process. I'm familiar with the conditions. I'm in agreement with all of them. And I'm mostly here to let you know that I'm representing the owner and be happy to answer any questions. I will add that I'm aware of the concern of the water district. The gentlemen are here. I understand all of us are concerned about the drought and how it's going to affect the various communities. I'm in agreement in asking that the tentative map get approved and accept the condition that as the owner gets into developing the lots and sells them or has builders that want to come and pull permits, that at that time the water district is going to be looking at the availability of water and making decisions at that time. That it's difficult right now to be able to predict if this drought's going to continue and have a greater effect on our communities, or if we get some rain and the problem becomes alleviated. With that, unless there's any questions, I'm concluded.
Just one observation, and I don't think it's going to make or break 7 more lots, but I just noticed that Avenue 393 is there's only one ingress and egress out of that area. There's just a lot of development, of course, a lot of people, a lot of homes in there. I'm wondering if the fire marshal had any issues or made any comments or anything like that. It just seems could be some congestion there on an emergency.
Correspondence from the fire department has no recommendations.
All right, just making an observation there, that's all.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to make any comments for or against the project?
My name is Daniel Cowherd. I'm the president of the Fairway Mutual Water Company. And first of all, excuse me if I'm a little nervous. I've not done this before. I live at 3152 Fairway Avenue, and we are obligated to supply water to those 7 lots, and we do not object to that whatsoever. Our concern is we're having some water issues now with our wells. We've got 2 wells. We've got a 15-horse and a 30-horse pump. One of those wells is we're having some issues with right now. As a matter of fact, it's down. So we're in the process of approaching the county, trying to develop 2 more wells. So hopefully we can go through that process and get 2 more wells online, and we know that's going to be a timely process. Whether that's going to happen 6 months, a year, or 2 years down the road, we don't know. But we definitely are obligated to supply water to those other 7 lots. So we just want to know, the developer to know, and also Papa George to know that down the road, putting those other 7 lots, we don't think it's going to be a problem, but when they sell them to the new owners, will we be able to provide water to those lots? We think so, but we're not the water experts, so we just want everybody to know what's going on with our system. That was the main purpose of us coming down here and being able to share this information.
That's probably why they have the condition that each lot's going to have its own will serve letter.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Any other member of the public wishes to make any comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment section and bring it back to the boards for discussion and recommendation or proposal.
And this project, again, is all individual septics then, for each lot? I think I understood that.
Yes. And the regional,
I have no problem with the subdivisions, very similar to ones I've done in the city of Visalia. So the ingress and egress, 23 lots it's always been okay in Visalia. It works. And you have an at-will serve. They have to have an at-will serve letter in order to build on the lot. So it seems like I think I voted on the original subdivision, whenever that was. And probably a good place if it's just kind of the finishing remaining lots on the original plan. So
That was my question. Is that the last of the lots now? That will
It is.
finish out the subdivision?
it is, and there is correspondence from the Water Board, and there's 2 letters. The first one expressing concern about the septic systems out there, and the second one, a follow-up after further review with Mitch Covington. He indicated that they remain concerned with the larger overall project and its potential impacts on water quality, but since this is the final map for this larger project, he was going to allow the septic systems and further review in the future, possibly a larger system for the entire development. So,
we're approving the general rule, is that what we're approving?
yes, and recommending that the board approve the general rule and the tract map.
I'll make a motion that we approve the general rule pursuant to section 15061B3 pertaining to CEQA, as it applies only to the projects which have the potential for causing significant effect on the environment, where it can be seen with certainty that there is no possibility of the activity in question may have a significant effect on the environment. The activity is not subject to CEQA and adoption, and adopt the resolution approving tentative subdivision map TM 833.
I
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Roll call, please.
Gong,
Yes.
Bailey's,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Willach,
Yes.
Piliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Thank you, gentlemen. The motion has been approved.
I'd like to make a addendum comment on this. Years ago when we started this tract, and I remember doing one part of this, we could look down the future, and we looked down the road at that time, and everything seemed, pretty much according to the rules that we had passed in the past. But I'm advising caution in the future on these kind of developments, because here we are in an area where we have a critical source of water nearby, and the water table can't be deep here, and yet we're approving septics in this area. And I think we need to look at this kind of thing in the future and I know it's only 7 lots here, and it finishes out this particular subdivision, but I think we need to, when we get to an area where we're this close to the river, or in any of our county areas, we need to look at more community waste disposal and water recycling. Otherwise, I don't think I could approve anything more like this, especially near the river that it is.
You know, I agree with John on that 100%. For the 12 or 13 years I've been on the commission here, this has been a very slow-moving target. Started many, many years ago, just slowly moving up, and I supported it today because this is the end of the deal. I'm not happy with that many septic tanks either, that close to the deal. Had something like this, 50, 60 lots come in all at once, I could never have supported it. But the fact that this is ending it, and I hope the developer doesn't come back to us with another 80 acres here that he wants to develop right there next to it. You know, it is what it is. 7 more lots is going to finish it and be done. But
On the contrary, though, we have disapproved some projects like 25 lots up in Springville that were next to a body of water because of the potential effect of individual septic systems.
right.
So we're aware of it, and we watch for it, and
Oh, sure.
that's all good.
And I, you know, I'm just kind of just backing up John's statement over there. 7 more lots, and this isn't going to make or break the deal. Plus, they're almost half acre apiece, so it's not as dense as many of the developments that we see come before us. But it's still something that I think that the general plan kind of discourages. We shouldn't be developing rural residential lots with this kind of a density on septic systems. I think if there was a way, I would really support them coming up with some sort of water treatment. The other side of that coin, too, is they could recycle that water instead of just letting it go in the ground and possibly get into the water table with contamination. But if these are big lots, these people have the resources. I would like to see something like that down the road if it's all at all possible.
Well, I don't really think we have a choice in the future, so we just all need to be aware of that.
Right. Enough said.
Okay. I guess we'll move on to item 6. Thank you for coming. Unless you guys want to hang around for item 6.
Yeah, they're going to hang. I think they're going to hang around. Items.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're going to talk to them after
what
the
you
meeting.
have.
We're going to talk to them a little bit.
So we're going to
all right.
director's report.
I just touched base a little bit on a couple things going on. In early March, the medical clinic is holding its grand opening on Thursday. Everybody's invited. I think it's 5 p.m. They're going to be doing a ribbon cutting and ceremony. McDonald's down there in Early Mart as well. They should be getting their building permit in the next few days. It's at the last stage of review, so they'll be breaking ground. They've indicated that they want to break ground as soon as they get the building permit. They're going to start construction, so that McDonald's will be underway shortly. Just mention that Hector is not here today because he's working hard on the environmental reports for the Tipton and Strathmore community plan updates, which you'll be seeing. We're tentatively scheduled for the 27th of May to bring before your commission for consideration and recommendation to the board. So he's been working because we have a public review time frame that we have to get this thing out right away by the end of the week to be able to make that date. I'll pass it on to Aaron and let Mike talk as well about maybe Caldwell improvements along the Caldwell corridor.
Before you pass it on that early mark, what's going to happen with the Caltrans issue that they presented?
There is Caltrans the comment with concerning the improvements at the off ramp, on ramp, and those are long-term improvements that they're concerned about. With Measure R, we've talked with TCAG, and the county has, and it's actually on the list for future improvements there that would be able to alleviate the issues and the concerns that Caltrans had with that. That's in a long-range plan with TCAG and Measure R money anyway. So.
And what was the company that's opening the medical clinic?
It's Tulare Regional.
Oh, from the Tulare Regional Hospital. Gotcha. I'm good friends with the president.
Commissioner Aaron Bach, Chief Planner. Just basically to further on what Mike was saying, we did release the EIR for Pixley as well. So Pixley will also be on the calendar for the 27th, hopefully. We have two other projects, Daryl's Storage and Pappage, that are also moving forward. So Pappage should be in front of this commission at our next meeting. That one's also a fairly robust EIR that goes along with it. So there will be a lot of reading here. We'll post these EIRs online to give you their availability much more in advance than our typical 1 week. So you can review those and become familiar with those. But again, we're hoping to get all of those four general plan amendment projects before you on the 27th. Obviously, the meeting before that, you'll have quite a few items as well. So both May meetings are going to be very, very full. Just to give you a heads up.
We have a meeting on the 13th and 27th, is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
Get that, Nancy? That was the 13th of May.
I got
They're
it.
going to be
Thank
here,
you.
not today.
I'll be here.
All right.
Don't pick on her, she's having a tough day.
Good morning, Mike Bond, RMA. Mike mentioned the Avenue 280 project. This is Avenue 280 is actually a Major R project that goes all the way from the 99 interchange all the way to Exeter, and it's broken up into three segments. We're moving forward on segment 1, which goes from Highway 99 to the westerly city limits of Visalia, just before Acres. So we'll do the intersection at Shirk as part of this project. The status right now is we're going to interview 4 consultants that responded to our request for RFQ for qualified consultants, and we'll score them and rank them hopefully over the next few weeks here, and recommend a selection to the Board of Supervisors hopefully by the end of May. So we'll get a consultant on board. We've just released an RFP for the right-of-way acquisition consultant, so that's on the street, and that'll proceed here. So in the meantime, staff is working on just establishing a criteria for the right-of-way acquisition. And once that's accomplished, we'll be able to establish an alignment for the roadway improvements. So we're moving forward, a lot of work being done on 280. So that's the only project I'd like to comment on today, other than just to express appreciation. It's Administrative Professionals Day, and we have a great staff at RMA, thankfully. And Velma and Maria has done a terrific job for Planning Commission and a lot of other things, so I'd like to thank them.
Mike, a quick question. The canal there on Caldwell, is that going to be put underground on the alignment?
That's one option. The other option would be to avoid the canal, so which is a substantial cost if it is underground. So we would there would be 2 actual costs here. One for the acquisition of the right of way. So we would essentially acquire that property, and we'd have to underground the facilities. Rough estimate for that would be over and above the cost of the project, about $1.5 million. So it's about $380 a foot. So when you see the open ditch like that, to put it underground's fairly expensive.
And then if you acquire it, then you've got to guarantee integrity on it too. Is that true?
Yeah, one of their concerns, this has already been vetted by the board, the Evan Ditch board. Tulare Irrigation District is essentially the manager for that facility. So the board has laid out a criteria that they would expect us to consider as part of their part of the undergrounding if that option is selected.
Maybe there's an evaporation factor that might Make it a little more financially attractive.
It would go from 50% to 0, and it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? We'll
I
move
was
on.
at an interesting meeting yesterday with some City of Visalia council people, and the topic, of course, everybody's talking about water. And they have their one day a week watering, and they're talking about a lot of things. But the thing that always concerns me as a developer is the amount of water that I'm required to waste whenever I do a subdivision. And I suggested, I said, why can't we just turn the water off to these parkways? And the direct answer I got back is, well, that's not possible. And it works in Arizona. And I said, I have a new subdivision, and we're putting sprinklers in and grass in a parkway, and that's got to be a tremendous waste. People don't see it, and I don't see it because I don't get up that early either. But you can drive by those things, and you can see the water running down the gutter. I see there's a disconnect between the county and the city of Visalia, not the other cities. And I don't know exactly how we improve that, but this is such an obvious thing. I'm going to meet with Cal Water because the city of Visalia doesn't seem to get along with anyone. I mean, don't quote me in the newspaper. There's no newspaper here, but they don't even like Cal Water. And so this water thing is not going away. There's some simple ways we could save it, and if we kill agriculture, then it's more complicated than Nancy will have to go have a job, at McDonald's in Pixley or wherever. But
Hey, Early Mart's opening up.
where is it?
Early Mart.
Early Mart. You could be at Early Mart. I'd
Here's
buy
another
fries
way
from
right here. Eliminate drinking bottled water from Nestle
Oh, no.
that sells it at Walmart and has a permit that
it's
expired in
easy.
1988.
My whole family has those, and you're right, John. But my point is I guess I'm talking to the choir because I don't see any solution, but they seem to be their own worst enemy, Aaron. So he raised his eyebrows. So I wish we could improve that.
Trying to get you to make a comment, but you're not doing it.
I'm really far away from the microphone.
Do I need to go out there to say this? Okay.
We all know how much water is used outside, and we got to do something about that. That's definitely an area we can save some.
Maybe you could do an article on that in your...
Oh, we've done some. I mean, people want to have lawns, and they want to have, areas that are green fire breaks between their house and the brush and that sort of thing. And it's not as dusty by the house if you have a nice watered lawn, but it's just, 15, 20 years ago that was practical, but it's just not going to work anymore, with the situation we're facing in the future.
It's easy to figure out who follows the rules and who doesn't. I'm not saying we're perfect, but you go down my street and my lawn's half dead. And then there's others that are green, and so...
Put in rock.
And I think we did a great job in Strathmore with Dollar General, and so it was zero landscape. You don't have to landscape, because we need the
Need to
water.
require that.
Well, it's a learning process, We had abundant water up to now, and we're just going to have to learn to live without it. You go to Phoenix in Arizona, and residences there have that, Xenoscape, and they learn to live with it. They just don't have the water.
But we have required, on a lot of the subdivisions, we have required that landscaping. So
It's required.
it's required. Yeah.
We've got to change some of that.
We need to maybe look at tweaking some of that.
I've been talking about this for at least 7 years. I mean, I go to council meetings and say, this is what we ought to do. I get the blank stare. Wayne's fault.
Well, we should require zero-scape landscaping. That's the solution. We have to have it, put it into all of our guidelines when we review a project.
A permeable paving.
Pretty simple.
You have trees. You can have water-tolerant plants. I mean, it's not, void of all green. So.
Cactuses.
Remember, droughts are
IRS.
cyclical. Droughts are cyclical, so it'll all be back, I guarantee it.
This one's going to last a while, though. We're gonna get some more rain, but
We
I
haven't
think
had
in
one like
general, we're
this.
gonna have a chronic shortage of water here.
72 to 76 and 82 to 84.
Yeah, but they weren't like this one.
No, they
They didn't
are.
have as many
Yes,
users.
they were. Yes, they are. They are. They're the same.
The 76,
Disagree.
yeah, it was.
We,
What
I'm
comes
going,
around goes around.
I'm going to Cedar Grove this weekend, and there is 1 million dead trees out there right now. We've never had that before.
But that isn't just drought, that is the
Beetle.
beetle.
Well,
or
yeah.
It's the, I don't wanna just say a beetle, I was trying to think, the insects that are attacking a stressed.
That's right.
But historically, John, we didn't even have those million extra trees up there.
Well, no, and it's, I mean, and that's true. We used to, prune them a little bit better.
Well,
and
Mother
take
Nature
some
used
out.
to prune them pretty good too.
Yeah.
Cut 'em
But,
down.
Minute 2x4s.
in fact, there was a fellow that was, he brought a lawsuit because it was not beneficial use of water. The water that would normally come down the rivers to the valley was being sucked up by the trees that shouldn't be there.
That's right. Well, they showed, I went to a talk at the Parks for Science conference, and they showed a plot that was totally burned out and maintained, some mechanical, and it was producing 20% more water down the drainage. This is from a 7,000 to 8,000 foot meadow, that had trees, but also had a lot of management and burning. And now there's 20% more water coming down that drainage. And that, we just got to do that. We got to all get together on this. And
Then I heard someone who farms out towards Lemon Cove talking about, maybe you've seen this, Nancy, that the oak trees along like the St. Johns River, we're losing a lot of those sacred oaks because they don't have that water to.
The water table dropped down. They used to take care of themselves.
They're dying. So that's just part of it. That's nature. That's can't stop it.
well, all the manzanitas between 1,000 and 3,000 feet are all dying. Not,
Except on the ranch I go to all the time. You never seen more healthy trees. I should take you up there, John. You'd like it.
a lot of it depends on the exposure, but they're in trouble.
Okay, let's move on to item 7, future agenda item. Anybody wishes to have anything? Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Next meeting is May 13, where Nancy's going to be sharing. She gets her date straight.
She's gonna what?
This water thing's
That should be
been going
shared
on
today.
since March